Hey everybody, it's Ken Compton, and today we're doing a webinar, what we call Boom, Bust, and Break Free. It's really a great concept, and I hope you'll hang with us for a minute. It's really the inspector's guide to what's next in real estate. So I'm Ken Compton. I'm going to be your presenter today, and we're going to talk about this great and important topic. Okay, a little housekeeping before we begin. I always have to say this, we're on a meeting today instead of a webinar, so if you just please keep your mic muted, we'll be good. And there will be a call recording. That's probably the most asked question I ever get. Is there going to be a call recording? So I'm just going to put it up. Yes, there will be. Add your questions to the chat, and I promise you I'll get to everybody before we get finished. And then if you stay on the call today, to the very end, I've got three gifts for you. So I think you'll want these. These are fabulous gifts. So if you'll hang on to the call the whole time, we'll give you those three gifts. A little friendly bribe to hang in and listen to all this great content. Okay, so here is the story. I have been out of the market for a bit, doing some health recovery, and so a lot of you may not know Ken. So I wanted to give you a little bit of a background about me. I built and sold a home inspection company with 34,000 plus inspections. No, I didn't do them all myself. I still like to sleep. I run Home Inspector Help and the Home Inspector Growth Academy, and I coach home inspectors who are tired of winging it and ready to win. 25 years in the home inspection game, I've seen trends come and go and come back wearing a different set of shoes. Trained and caffeinated thousands of real world no fluff strategies that work. Coach, not a guru, no smoke and mirrors, just business wisdom and a side of Southern charm. Uh-oh, y'all. And last but not least, I have this motto that says, he who implements wins. What's that translation? Take notes. I'll show you how to cash them in. All right, that's who I am. And if you know me at all, you've probably heard me say "Who implements wins" is the most important takeaway from that slide. We can share with you everything you need to do, how you need to do it, why you need to do it, but if you don't do it, we can't help you. Okay, so that's really important. Why does this all matter right now? I mean, why in the hell would I be doing this presentation at this moment in time? The reason why I'm doing it is because the market is changing. I'm sure that you've heard of the concept called market disruption. I had a discussion with our granddaughter when she was younger, and she was looking for a career. And I said, be sure to select a career that won't be disrupted. Okay. And she didn't really know what that was. And I had an explanation to her, and she still mentions it to me today about career disruption. So we are in a disruption in the real estate market. Winners will adopt fast. I will tell you, I was watching Neil Patel. You guys may know him. I was watching a podcast he was doing. And one of the things he reminded me of is he says implementation is the key to the success, but the bigger key to success is the speed of implementation. Okay, the speed of implementation. And so in a market disruptions, the winners are going to adopt this quickly and roll with it. Okay, in every disruption, there's winners or losers. Okay, and I want you to be a winner. Okay, so this is why we have to adopt these concepts quickly and go with them. It's a 30-minute webinar. It's packed full of good stuff. If you know me, 30 minutes is hard for me to say good morning, so it may go a minute longer. Okay, the boom is coming back. Okay, what would falling interest rates mean to your inspection calendar? Okay, that's the real question. Okay, so history repeats itself. What happens the last time rates dropped? Okay, the business got really busy, right? Okay, so you got really busy, and that's really important. There were more inspections on the schedule, that kind of thing. And I will tell you that Jerome Powell cannot legislate for the President of the United States to continue to keep interest rates at artificially high levels. Okay, interest rates are on the cusp of coming down. Okay, and what happens is that will unleash the biggest boom we've seen in the real estate market in a long time. And the reason why that is because there's a tremendous amount of pent-up demand for people wanting to move. Okay, but Beth and I have been looking for a farm in the East Tennessee. Okay, and you know what happens is there's no properties available. And as we've moved on, there's less and less inventory countrywide. And the ones that are left on the market are what we call as home inspectors POSs, and they're selling for a fortune. Okay, so people aren't moving and putting their house on the market because there ain't no place to move. So when interest rates go down, more inventory comes on the market, people have choices and places to move, it will unleash a tremendous amount of demand. That's what happened last time, and that's what will happen again. I mean, think about 2007, 2008, as we all suffered and slugged through that, as the market normalized, credit became available, the schedules got crazy. It went to there was bidding on homes. That wasn't that long ago. You guys remember the old bidding? People paying over asking, that kind of thing. Five contracts on one. So the window of opportunity for home inspectors is now. Okay, if we wait around until the boom actually is upon us, how are we going to implement these strategies? Okay, we won't be able to. So now is the time. And that's why I said early, we have to adopt these strategies early. And if we do, we're the winner. Okay, we don't want to get left behind when volume spikes. Okay, so here's a real problem. I mean, when I said boom, bust, and win, and a lot of you guys are on the call have known me for a long time. And so what happens is I detest having to depend on real estate agents for leads. Okay, they're the most disloyal referral source I've ever seen. There's lots of wonderful real estate agents. As a person, I like them, but as an industry, I don't like them. And I can get into a million reasons why, and I would just be singing what you already know. Okay, but buyers agents are no longer your lead gen lifeline. And I prayed for this all of these years to get them out of the process. Get them out of the process, okay? Because you know what happens is they would go back to their office. Oh, Ken did an inspection for me today and killed my deal. Really? How did that work? Or we have somebody on our list and we're not letting anybody else on. Oh, you got to pay me to play. Or the list goes on, or. Okay, so now they're not going to be, the buyer's agents are no longer going to be your lead gen lifeline. But I'm telling you what, I bet you every one of them look at your business and you'll see that the majority of it comes from there. Okay. Okay. So now we're getting to the crux of the matter, aren't we? Okay. So here's we're gonna keep going. Sitzer Burnett. Whether you know it by Sitzer Burnett or not, it's it. August 18th of 24. What happens is the courts ruled that the real estate agents that were the agencies and the big ones, Keller Williams and all the other ones were in there. The court said that, hey, they committed some fraud. And there was an, $8 billion plus judgment, actually 18 billion when you looked at it, a dollar judgment against them. And the basic crux of the matter is they said that when the multiple listing services posted the commission for the home sale, 6%, let's just use that number, then the buyer's agent got 3% and the listing agent got 3%. But if there was a reduced commission or there was no buyer's commission, buyer's agents refused to show those properties. Okay, just because of that. All right, so they said that's no good. And they also said that commissions are negotiable. Okay, and you have to tell your client that commissions are negotiable. Okay, so now what's happened really is this: buyer's agents have to enter into a contract with buyers that spell out the services they're offering and the fee they're going to charge. Now, how many of your clients were ever your home buyers? John, your market is an exception because of the multi-million dollar properties that are in your community. But the rest of America, the buyers never have enough money for that to pay the buyer's agent. I mean, the only reason they had a buyer's agent in the beginning was because it didn't cost them anything. So why not use a free service? Okay. But Sister Burnett said, So now the buyer's agents have to do it. So I'm telling you what we see all over the country, and the market is really depressed right now. But what we see already is home buyers saying, there's no chance I'm doing that. I'm not doing that. And so what happens is a lot of home buyer agents are going out of the market. Okay. Because they realize that that's not a service they'll pay for. And that's a big portion of the market disruption. Now, I'm going to go back and ask you a simple question. When referrals from buyers agents dry up, where are you going to get your leads? And let's say that 65% or 60% of your business currently comes from buyers agents, but 30% of those agents went away, or the agents that gave you 30% of that went away. Now you're down 30%. So let's say that that's 100 home inspections or 300 home inspections a year. So take 300 times your average transaction value. If those leads don't come in, minus that dollar from your total revenue. Okay. So if we don't make changes today to offset those buyer referrals that we're not going to be getting before, those buyer's agent referrals, if we were getting them before and we're not getting them now, how are we going to make up those leads? How are we going to get those leads? Okay. So that's why we're talking about this today. The end of the old handshake game is over. And one of the things about real estate agents, if you ever called on them in their office, they were friendly and positive and upbeat. Some of them were, some weren't. But then the next handsome face got your referrals. I mean, it was a tremendously disloyal service, and I was unaccustomed to that. I like to be able to outmarket my competitors. And what happens is by doing the things we're going to be talking about in the next few minutes, you can outmarket your competitors too. So, when they're sitting at home lamenting they don't have any business because the agents aren't there to give it to them, you won't care because you'll still have business. Okay, and this is what we're really talking about today. And I'm going to tell you this, guys, a bunch of home inspectors are going out of business. A bunch of home inspectors are going out of business. Only question you have to ask yourself, is it going to be me? Okay, so that's where we are. This is a critical thing. Okay, fewer agent referrals mean you got to do more direct to the consumer marketing. Okay. I mean, honestly, when you look at your book of business, and if you take something from this call today, you better go back to your ISN or your Spector or whatever you're using and say, what percentage of my business comes from agent referrals? Okay. And honestly, let's just be honest with each other on this. The agent referrals you're getting from are buyer's agents, not listing agents. I mean, as a traditionally, we have never marketed listing agents. Okay, so the referrals you have coming now from real estate agents for buyer's agents, when they go away, or half of them go away, a third of them go away, you got a big old hole you got to fill. Okay, so direct to the consumer marketing, and that just doesn't mean internet marketing. That means a variety of other things. And I'm going to teach a whole webinar on that coming up. So please mark your calendar when you see that piece come up. So inspectors need to rethink their lead dependency. I mean, that's what you have. You have a lead dependency. It was so easy, us too, to get leads from buyer's agents. It was easy. And when the market was super dynamic, it was like shooting fish in a barrel. But that lead dependency is over. Okay. And it's going to take a bit to work its way completely into the market before they realize it. And then stop relying on someone else's business model. And what do I mean by that? Their business model was they were in the real estate business and we're just one small component. And they didn't view us as necessary, and they didn't mind disabusing us or abusing us on certain things. And our business got hurt, or they gave their business to someone else, even though we had done a quality job. You know what? That's their business model. Our business model is now property consultant. What happens where home inspections are just one revenue stream in the total basket of services you're going to offer. Okay, so that's what we're talking about, because if you're just going to be a home inspector, that you might be able to make it, you might be able to market listing agents. I can talk to you about 6 platforms today that have just come on the market to eliminate listing agents. Okay, and buyer's agents too, but listing agents. Okay, so we are in a giant market disruption. So our business model now is going to be property consultant, where home inspections are one revenue stream in that home property consultant business. If you don't, I promise you're going to be happy when you do it. Okay, break free, take control of your leads. Let's talk about it. Your path to financial freedom starts with independence. So let's just say we're free of leads from buyer's agents. I was thinking of a little analogy here, and I'm going to just put it out. Any of you ever been hooked on sugar, refined sugar? Man, I was hooked on refined sugar, and you know what? It took me a damn year. I've been free from it about 18 months now because of health issues. But I will tell you, I was hooked on that. I love those sweets, and just give me something a little sweet in midday. I'd reach for something sweet, and that was an addiction, right? As sugar is a refined sugar is an addiction, and that it clearly your physician will tell you that well too. So we were addicted to sugar, and you know what else was home inspectors were done? We're addicted to leads from home buyers agents. And most home inspectors have blinders. They're addicted to that lead source. Okay. They can't see moving their business any other way. Okay. So, but you have to say, if you want to maintain, most inspectors get in this business for 2 reasons. And I've been at this over 25 years, and I've heard thousands of home inspectors say they got in the business to make more money and to gain time freedom, right? So more financial and time freedom. Now, it's easier to make more money. Time freedom has been the beast for most of us. Okay, so what happens is today you can start thinking about your financial freedom. You can beat that sugar addiction or that real estate agent addiction. Okay, so that's why we said, hey, break free. And I'm going to show you, I got a free report and all that for you at the end. You have to build your own pipeline of leads. Why do real estate agents fail? Why do real estate agents fail? There's one reason, right? One reason they can't generate enough leads. Okay. Top producers are great lead generators. You know what they think about a funnel, like you fill your lawnmower, your tractor. Big old open top, leads drop in, a few months, each one's drop out. Okay, so what happens is they generate leads, but the ones that get out of the real estate business, they're not bad people and they're not mean or anything like that. They just don't have the skill sets to generate leads. So let's think about the successful real estate agents for a minute. What do? They build a pipeline, right? They're involved in the community. They use the internet. They go to speak at events. They do webinars. They do all these things. They build what I call a sphere of influence. Okay. They build a sphere of influence. So, somebody over here says, oh, Ken, I know him. He's in the home inspection business. He's really good. If you're thinking about getting a home inspection or you're thinking about renovating your home as a property consultant, he can help you. Or if you're doing this, he can help you. Okay, so a lead comes in from here. And then over here, somebody says, oh, I know Ken. I've known him a long time. He's a great guy. Got a great company. A lead comes in from over here. So leads are coming in from different spheres of influence for you. That's the way the real estate agents, top producers are successful. They build a sphere of influence within the community, and guess what happens? Leads come in. That includes prior clients, the whole thing. Okay, so they're not addicted to one source of leads. Okay, so as a home inspector slash property consultant, if you're going to move that way, which I want you to, you have got to build your own pipeline to replace those buyer's agents leads that aren't going to be there any longer. Okay. I mean, if you ignore this, it's your peril, not Ken's, yours. Okay. So our financial freedom is to build our own sphere of influence where leads come in consistently, no matter what happens to the real estate industry. We don't care. Okay. People still need home inspections and other services that we have to offer. And home inspectors are extremely smart people. They have tremendous skills to offer. Okay, they just haven't thought of it that way because their leads always came in from buyer's agents. Okay, so past clients, social, community events. This is just a bullet point here for you. Become a property consultant. I've already been preaching on this, not just an inspector. Sure, you own an inspection company, but that's only one part of being a property consultant. Okay, we already have clients who are moving in this direction. Okay, create recurring valuable revenue. Okay. One of the things I've been talking to you about that home inspectors are like restaurants. You're only as good as your last meal, okay, or your last home inspection. So you're constantly having to sell because you don't have any referral, you don't have any recurring income. Okay, and I would say to you guys in the past, why don't you get into the pest control business? There's recurring income. You can feed your pest control business leads from the home inspection industry for your business to another business, or do this or do that. I've been preaching that my whole career. If you don't have a recurring income, then you have peaks and valleys in your revenue streams. Okay, so as a property consultant, we're going to show you how to eliminate those peaks and valleys in your income by having income that's recurring. Okay, that'll be a blessing. So again, all of the things we're talking about is eliminating our addiction to leads from home buyers agents and replacing them with great marketing skills that we're doing on our own. Okay, and we're going to expand our service offerings from just home inspection to other things. I hope that makes sense to everybody. This is the perfect time to do it. If we tried to make this change when business was running as usual, we probably couldn't do it. But now that the market's disrupted, we have a tremendous opportunity to make this happen. It's just up to the individual inspector to make it happen. And we'll teach you how. Okay, so look at this. 3 ways to start breaking free of that addiction to those leads today. Rebrand yourself as a solution provider. Okay, not just an inspector. So what a home inspector is known for, when you think about it, think about this for a minute. When you think about home inspectors, what is it that we're really known for? We identify problems, right? So you know what happens is when our team comes to me, and I say this to Beth too, and she knows it, I don't want you to come to me with a problem. I want you to come to me with an issue and a solution for that issue. Okay. I don't want to hear the problem. I understand problem. I want to hear what the issue is and what's your solution. Okay. So what happens is we can move ourselves away from being a problem finder to a solution provider. And when you become a property consultant, that becomes really easy. Okay, so it's rebranding. Everybody's and you see any company rebrand or do this, that, or the other. It's a rebrand. Glenn, you and I have talked about a rebrand and for your own company. And I mentioned this to you before you went on the canoeing trip. This is a perfect opportunity for you, even in Canada, to re-go. Now, Sitzer Burnett may not be as powerful there, but it is certainly the law of the land here. Um, Nurture past clients and homeowners. They're your gold mine. You know what I found over the years coaching home inspectors? And I have been doing this so many years. I actually had a full head of hair and it was dark colored when I started this. So that's been many, many moons ago, almost 30 years now. So what happens is because we're so busy getting new business every day. I mean, our revenue stream depends on us getting new business every day. So it's not like you just ignored your prior clients. The fact of the matter is, they were less valuable to you because you were having to go and go and go and get new every day. But what we missed is a gold mine, and I've been preaching this from the very beginning. The people that know you, like you, and trust you and would give you business tomorrow have been ignored by home inspectors. Okay. To the most part, they've been ignored by you. Okay. So one man shops that really value their their prior clients and stayed in touch with them probably get 40, 50, 60% of their business just from their prior clients. I had a client that got 80% of his business from his prior clients. God bless him. Okay. So the fact of the matter is your prior clients, the amount of referrals you got from them were directly related to how often you stayed in touch with them, what information you provided, what value they saw in you again. So what we have is we have a whole program that will teach you some strategies that will make a huge difference in getting those leads. Now, if you hadn't talked to anybody in 15 years, will these strategies work as well? Maybe less. They'll still work, but they're not going to be as hot. Okay, so the time to start taking advantage of these things, like we started with the presentation, are now. Okay, so if we can start reaching out to our prior clients now, the newer ones that we have, and work on the older ones later. Um, Build a non-agent marketing machine. Okay, and I just put some ideas on here: SEO, newsletters, video, etc. But you know what happens is one of the things I was looking at, and somebody said, "Oh, I'll tell you, it was Josh Nelson, and he's a plumbing SEO guy specialist. He's their coach in that industry." And one of his people was interviewing a very, very successful plumbing company. And I was watching this interview yesterday. It was quite fascinating. And this guy just looked like a regular plumber. You know what I'm saying? No offense to the plumber, but he just looked like a regular plumber. But he was a very successful plumber because he paid attention to his marketing coach because Josh is really a great guy and he has a great company for plumbers. Okay. But you know what he said? He said, the lady said, well, what strategies are going to use this year that are working for you? He said one of the strategies that worked for us in the past historically was something that we've skipped in the future because we've gotten all high tech. And she said, well, what was that? He said, we're keeping high tech, but the strategy that we've ignored was being involved with the community. We have let that go. And as a result of that, people just look at us as another business, just another plumber. And he said, we have implemented a program of community involvement, and we're already seeing tremendous results from it. And that was quite a fascinating thing because one of my most important things is community involvement. Who knows you in the community? Remember when we talked about real estate agents build a sphere of influence? That's what you're going to have to do. And that thing is called community involvement. Okay, so if you're not willing to get out of your office and be involved in the community, I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna have a tough road to hoe, man. I mean, this ain't business as usual. This ain't your grandfather's home inspection business. A lot of home inspectors are going to go out of business because they're not going to be engaged in these things. And I'm sad to say it. There's no reason for anybody to do it because I'll teach you what you need to do, but you just got to do it. So the big opportunity with the property consulting model, we've laid out all kind of things, and this isn't a negative call. I don't want you to think that, but think of it as a wake-up call. Think of it as a wake-up call so you can be an early adopter of these strategies because early adopters win. Okay, educate, advocate, and consult beyond just the inspection. There are so many things. I was talking to one of our clients the other day, and he's in the Boston area. And I was talking to him about this model. He's one of my personal coaching clients. And so I was talking to him about, have you ever done this, or this besides home inspections? He said, I get those requests all the time, and sometimes I do them. And I said, that's being a property consultant. And he's like, wow, the light came on for him. So now he's starting to look at what people ask him when he's there to get ideas for what kind of consulting services he can provide. I have him consciously aware to ask these things. Okay, so now he's doing it. He's already doing consulting and he just wasn't calling it that name. And he was charging $300 for these consultations. And we had a guy in California the same way. He's doing property consulting now, and he just didn't recognize he was doing it. He's charging $300 or $400 for this service. Okay, but it's not home inspections, it's part of his property management. So we're rebranding him as a property management consultant. Help homeowners navigate maintenance, upgrades, and resale. Now, again, these are big ideas. There's specific strategies for all these things. That's not this webinar. Okay, so help them navigate maintenance, upgrades, and resale. All right. Position equals power and referrals. Okay. Position equals power and referrals. All right. So, what are your next steps? Okay. So here's the next steps. I think I got a free 30-minute bonus call, speakwithken.com. Select a time on my calendar to talk to me. I'll ask you 3 questions. I'll ask you, are you one-man shop or multi? What city or marketing area, city and state? And I'm going to ask you, what's your biggest problem? And from that, I'm going to try to spend 30 minutes with you, helping you understand some strategies that you might be able to do, or we're just going to get you refocused in that 30 minutes. So there's bonus number 1, absolutely free. Number 2 is we teach every bit of this in the Home Inspector Growth Academy. $79.95 is a normal price. You get your first month half price. Go to growmyinspectionbusiness.com, and use the code Quick Action. If you don't use the code Quick Action, you're going to make $79.95, and then you're going to have to call my lovely bride and beg for the other half back. And someday she could be mean. Don't do that. So just go ahead and type in Quick Action right away when it asks for that code, baby. And remember, a Quick Action has a hyphen. Okay, I don't know why it has a hyphen. I didn't set it up, but it has a hyphen. Okay, and the third bonus is I've got a free report for you, 21 ways to get more inspections without begging realtors. Is that a bad topic or what? I mean, I'm sick of begging realtors, man. I used to carry around a 5-gallon bucket of chapstick. You know why? Because I had to kiss so much butt, my lips were always chapped. And you know what happens? I'm finished with that, baby. I ain't begging nobody for nothing. Ken gonna lead the band now. So, 21 ways to get inspections without begging realtors. We could change that without being addicted to sugar. Okay, whatever you want to make it. So that's it. It's a great report. It gets into some ideas. It's not really the specific strategies, but it's ideas, because what I need you to do at this point is start thinking through this concept. Do I have to get up and go out and do something today? No, you have to sit in your office and read these things and start looking, okay, what opportunities exist for me today besides home inspections? Okay, home inspections are one thing, and that's great, and they're not going away. God bless them. But how we get them is going away. Okay, so we have to be a property consultant, but how do we solve that recurring revenue problem? By being a property consultant. Okay, so a lot of problems can get solved for our industry during this disruption. Okay, so don't miss it. All right. So to get the free report, just go to getlocalleads.com/myfreeguide. Now, if you're on this call, getlocalleads.online, getlocalleads.online. I always think .com, but .online/myfreeguide. And there's hyphens in there. That's crazy. I'll talk to our staff and they won't do that again to you. But it'll also be at the bottom of this recording. So you'll be able to get it. You will get a copy of the recording. Okay. With that said, if you just leave here with one thing today, one thing, this is my major thing for you. You can thrive without agent referrals. You can thrive without agent referrals. The question is, are you going to do it? Okay. But you can thrive without agent referrals. All right. Now, I don't know if we had any questions in the chat, Miss Beth. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to we'll just open the mics. We have a small group, so let's just open the mics and anybody want to ask a question. And if you cuss, I'll have to edit the video, so don't cuss.
Nobody can say anything yet. I just want
I
to
want to
mention
get it.
one thing.
What's
One
that?
of our clients is, as Ken mentioned, is doing this. He didn't realize it was property consultant. But one of the things that he has a lot of out of town buyers, and a lot of times the homes need some work. And so before they actually move in, they have a remodeler come out and do some things. And since they're not actually here, they're out of state or whatever, our client is the one who actually kind of manages it for them,
Overseas.
oversees it. So, and he even helps them with the vendors and whatnot. And he gets paid for doing that. So he didn't realize that was a property consulting kind of idea, but he really likes that idea.
How he gets paid is a fee for his services. Okay, so for oversight on the project. Okay, so everybody has different state rules, and you can say, "Oh, I can't do it because my state won't permit it." But you know what happens is we have this statement, we have this kind of little logo we use here. It's called FITFO. Okay, so FITFO, do you guys know what that means? Figure it the F out. Okay, you know, I don't give a F fit forward. So when I say to our staff, fit forward, they know what that means. I don't want to hear that. Everybody's got, I can't do. No, you can do. Figure it out. Okay, so we're smart. Okay, so don't sit back and say, I can't do this because of my market. I just don't want to hear that. There's a way to do it. So we have a client in Miami, and what happens? A lot of foreign buyers coming into Miami. And so what they do, they have a luxury home buyer program for inspections, and they have these drapes where the motors in the drapes $10,000, $12,000 on these big dynamic windows on these condominiums. It's all the way across the front, and they test those. And if those don't work, then they provide vendors that do it. They test all these hugely high expensive appliances, and then if they don't work, they recommend vendors for these upscale things. They provide services to these foreign buyers above and beyond the home inspection. They didn't call it consulting services. They are now, but that they're seeing opportunities where they can do more and more of these things. And I have a whole list of opportunities that will come up, and they're in the Home Inspector Growth Academy if you want to look at it. One of the other things is marketing listing agents. While listing agents are still here, we need to flip the script. Okay, what we're already seeing countrywide is the buyers are skipping the buyer's agents and going right to the listing agent. The brokers don't necessarily like it because dual agency brings on a bunch of litigation potential. So they don't really like it. So everybody's trying to scramble and figure it out. But why wouldn't we market listing agents if they're the one that has the buyers now? Okay, until the disruption is complete, let's leverage every opportunity that we have. Okay, so there's tons of ways for us to be successful as a property consultant and think where we get leads. But the buyer's agents that were so easy to get leads from are saying ta-ta. Okay, and if you can look on any of them, Inman News, you can look on HomeWire, you can look on any of them. You can do Google alerts for certain things in the real estate industry, and it'll come in your email box every day or every week, and we see them and they're going. Okay, and then some of them you'll see, oh, commissions haven't dropped. Well, you know what happens is that really isn't true, isn't really a fair thing because maybe they haven't dropped because our real estate agents haven't told them yet, and because there's lawsuits on that now. But on the other thing is the market has been so down for residential resales, it's just, not been a big issue. But you let the market roar back in, and then what happens is people are going to learn quickly they can open. For sale by owner is still going to be the largest player. Okay, what can we do with them? Okay, and then what happens is flat fee realties are coming in, 44, flat fee realty that we use to sell our properties, has now applied for permission to be a broker in 44 states. They charge $500 for a full service listing. Okay, what can we do there? Okay, who has our clients? Who has them? Okay, that's what we want, right? Can we build relationships with them? Okay, we have to start thinking out of the box because those buyers agents are going away. So there's tons of opportunities out here for us. How about local people in your community? Just you can, I mean, the list goes on and on. How about when you have the home show in your community? Why wouldn't you be there with a booth? Okay, so I mean, opportunities that are going to be, I mean, we have a person that goes to the farmer's market and talks with people. They have, or their family has a booth and they're talking with them about this, that and the other, and building relationships. Not that you're going to have a booth at the farmer's market. That was just one example, but he's thinking outside the box. Okay, so the fact of the matter is there's so many community opportunities. I mean, that sign on the baseball field was when your kids were playing little league, we support the local little whatever baseball team it was. Okay, you know what happens is if your kid's playing, you have that sign and the parents, who they gonna call for an inspection? So, what opportunities do we have to think outside the box to get spheres of influence built? The more people that know you, how about your church, your synagogue? How about if you volunteer in any kind of organization? How about other things you do in the community? How about you do home buyers webinars, first time home buyers webinars? Why can't you do those things instead of the real estate agents? Why can't you have your sphere of influence, the plumber, the electrician, those people? Okay, and you bring them in. How about building partner vendors? We're going to call them preferred vendors. Get leads from them. The list is infinite on where you can get leads. Okay. Anything else before we go? I mean, it's a lot to think about. All right. If you pick up the free report, great, do it. It's a great thought provoker. Beth will send you the link also because the recording will take a day or two to get up. The other thing is, if you want to take advantage of the free 30-minute call, just give me a shout and we'll set it up on my calendar, speakwithkencompton.com, pick a day and time that works for you, and then we'll chat for 30 minutes. Okay, guys. Beth and I are out here. Thank you so much for joining the call. See everybody soon. You can
Thank
do
you.
this. Remember, you can thrive without agent referrals. Woohoo! See you.
Bye-bye.